Okay, we are at the 2019 Axpona audio show. This is the first time I'm actually going to be trying to use a selfie stick and actually record myself as I'm zipping around in my scooter. All right, so first thing I'm seeing here is Sota Turntables. When I was actually in the audio industry, actually our company sold Sota Turntables. So I'm going to take a look to see what they have here. So I'm going to kind of share with you guys what this looks like. So I'm just going to flip our camera around a little bit here. So this looks like this is the current lineup of Sota Turntables. And when we were actually selling Sota Turntables, they actually had the original design, which is actually called the Sapphire and Star Sapphire turntable. So this one here actually seems to be the Star Sapphire, the current version of the Star Sapphire. And looking at it, seems very similar to the ones we used to sell way back in the late 70s, early 80s, when the company actually first started. So you see there's a whole bunch of people here taking a look at product. So let's kind of squeeze around here and kind of get away from everybody.
Is there some question I can answer for you?
No, actually, interestingly enough, I used to be a Sota turntable dealer.
Oh, I'm Donna. I'm one of the owners.
Hi. I started out actually when the company first started. I don't remember the gentleman who was
David Fletcher.
Robert Becker.
So, are you from the Midwest? Or
I'm from the Chicago area.
Okay.
We had a store called Component Stereo,
okay,
which we had shut down in the mid 80s.
Okay.
But I was one of your first dealers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So my brother and I and my father actually started when you were starting out with the Sapphire turntables and the Star Sapphires.
Okay.
And so we sold a number of that. At that time, I think Paul Heath Audio was a dealer, if I'm not mistaken.
Did you say Paul Heath?
Yeah.
Paul Heath is one, right?
And I think we
you
were...
probably know Home. Home has been around forever.
Home Audio, and then Component Stereo, our store, was the 3 stores in Chicago. So what is your name?
I'm Donna. I'm one of the owners.
Okay. We're going to put you on YouTube here. But,
cool. Very cool.
But yeah, we sold tables when they first started out, and when I first talked to Robert Becker, he originally didn't actually want to have us as a dealer.
How come?
At that time, I think it was difficult to find good dealers, and so I says, well, we desperately need a good quality product. But he says, no, we got plenty of dealers. We're not interested. So I says, well, great. So I told him off, and then we were walking away from the room, and he called my brother and me back. He says, you guys are the next Sota dealers. And he says, the reason is because he says, I don't want another basic dealer. I want a dealer who has passion of what we do.
Sure.
And he says,
sure,
you guys obviously have that. So we became the 3rd dealer in Chicago when Sota first started.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you got to love what you do what you love, right?
That's right. That's right. So the company's grown, it looks like.
Very much so.
So now you guys are here in Illinois, I think? Is that true, or what?
No, we're in Delavan, Wisconsin now.
Okay.
We moved there in December of 2017.
Okay.
And I have a new partner, Christan, Griego.
Right.
And several of these new additions to the line are his creations.
Okay.
You'll see on the entry-level Moonbeam, which is right here in front of us, you'll notice those nice brass feet.
Right.
And if you can see underneath the table, you'll also notice that he's added a brass bearing cup assembly.
Okay.
And working with brass is something that he does regularly. So he knows which way to turn it or push it or pull it to give you the acoustical sounds you want to hear on whatever kind of application you have.
Good.
So, and then we go into, so that's the Moonbeam.
All right.
Upstairs in room 666 is our Comet table,
all right,
which basically takes the guts of this and starts adding to it. The double thick platter, the 330 tone arm, and the plinth of the table is thicker.
Okay.
And then you go up in the line, and we're going to go, we have a couple different models in between, the Satellite and the Jewel, and we can produce those tables, but they're not as popular as something like our Sapphire tables, which
right,
you're more familiar with.
Right.
So this is the brand new edition,
all right,
the Series 6.
All right, let's take a look at this thing here.
Series 6, we've had the Series 5 around for a while, and when you were back in the mid-'80s, you were in the Series 1, Series 2.
Exactly.
So now the Series 6 uses all brand new electronics, 21st century electronics.
Okay.
It has a magnet levitating platter.
Oh.
We're using a phenolic resin chassis, which is very dense, inert material. We're putting an aluminum aircraft quality brace on it, and we're adding different tone armory cartridges packages we can do for it. It's got a set of nice spiked feet that Christan also designed.
I know one of the things we used to do when we demonstrated the table, we would literally pound on the table, and there would be absolutely nothing being transmitted
Correct.
through.
There's actually been reviews where it was through an earthquake in California. Because originally back then they were manufactured
Right,
there. And,
right.
You know, there was earthquakes all the time out
Right.
there. So yeah.
Yeah, it blew away everybody when we used to do that, and
or jump next to it with a $5,000 cartridge on there or something crazy,
Right.
you know? Yep.
yeah.
So the Sapphire, so you're familiar with that,
Right.
and then it went into the vacuum version.
Right, Star
Now,
Sapphire.
This would be something that's very interesting for all listening, is that in the day there was the Star, which was
Right.
more recognizable,
Right.
and then the Star was upgraded with the Nova.
Right.
And what the upgrade was in the platter assembly. So the Star would use an acrylic mat and
Right.
a steel ball bearing.
Right.
Well, the Nova used a vinyl mat, vinyl more lifelike to
Right.
the LP, same thing as our upper end tables would use, and a ceramic bearing. So people more recognize the Star name, but its upgraded version is the Nova. So today we produce it in the Nova version.
What is the retail price point of what we're looking at here?
The Sapphire in a Series 6 version is $3,600.
Okay.
That's the non-vacuum.
Okay.
When you get into the Nova, it starts at $5,700.
Okay.
Now, this particular Nova has the Series 6, but it also has the upgraded version of what we're calling the full Eclipse package. And the Eclipse package is a three-phase DC motor
Okay.
that is run with the Condor power supply unit, which was engineered by Phoenix Engineering. So we're licensing with them and offering that as additional options
Okay.
in our tables. And then if you want to see how that runs, then you've got that Roadrunner. You want to watch what the speed is consistently doing.
Okay. Cool.
And then we go into, and Garrett is one of the assistant engineers that's been working with Christan, and he can go into much more thorough explanation of those if you want to hear some of the more details. We're going to be on YouTube.
Yeah. We'll
And
put
now
this on
here is one of our top of the line tables, the Cosmos.
Right.
So our Cosmos, we're totally skipping the Series 6, the Series 5, which we would have went into, and went with the full Eclipse package. And while we have just a quick moment here, I'll introduce you to, that's my new partner, Christan Griego.
Okay. Let's position him a little bit better here. There we go.
And okay, good. And he's someone who's going to ship that to you. He's got the Roadrunner on order. So what we did is we skipped the Series 6 version of the Series 5 version of it, and we put the full Eclipse package into this table.
Okay.
So with the three-phase motor, again, the digital power source, and then the tachometer, and it's at 9,700 in different custom finishes. This particular one is African rosewood, and it's available. Typically, you'd get a Cosmos and/or a Nova in a non-vacuum version, and they're available, in a vacuum version, and they are available as a non-vacuum too.
I think one of the things that when Sota first came out with the tables, we were selling the Koa when Koa was available, and that was what I think.
Probably Brazilian rosewood too.
You're right.
That too often.
Oh, that's expensive now. But it grabbed a lot of attention to our customers when they first saw it. They never saw anything that looked so nice, and so they would always ask, "What is this table?" And we'd explain to them. And of course, reviews were always very favorable at that time. So it was an easy sale for us, pretty much. People pretty much knew what they wanted. They came in, they saw it, they liked it, they heard it, and I think at that time, our tables were selling probably around the $3,000 ranges way back then. Things, of course, changed over time now.
This one is $9,700.
There you go.
Tone arm and cartridge.
There you go.
And people who appreciate the woodworking, we actually hand pick our wood. We go to the mill and we pick out a 3/4 inch, 7.5, 8 foot board.
Right.
And that's what's wrapping that table. So from front all the way around, it's that one piece of wood.
Right. Cool.
It's very, I mean, who doesn't,
It's
what
great
can
stuff.
I say? What
yeah.
can I say?
I'm glad to see that the company's continued on and grown over the years. And
there's a lot of new innovations. Over here is the new phenolic resin chassis with the bracing that we're using. And we're also going to offer these Phoenix Engineering parts for the VPI owners.
Okay.
So VPI owners have the problem with the speed or anything of that nature, then the condor or the motor or the tachometer, even if you want to buy something like that separately, will be available.
Good.
And over there, we've got a sample of what it's going to look like, and you'll have a field installed kit.
Right.
So this is the little VPI box, and these are our chassis.
Yeah, so what we've done is we have our new motor control with Phoenix Engineering with the 24-volt DC brushless motor. We have bearings in the top and the bottom of the motor itself. We manufacture all of our spindles and machine them all in-house. This, you actually take the VPI motor out. This fits right in. We gut where the power cord goes in with the fuse. We replace it with an acrylic plate with the plug right here, which is good. It takes a 3-pin mic connector. And then from that, this goes to the motor. And then you have your condor control, which controls everything. And then if you want to hook up the tachometer with the Roadrunner, it's pretty incredible where it adjusts the speed out to the thousandths and the tenth of the thousandths, but we don't pay the money for the extra 3. It's kind of ridiculous. Nobody needs to know that. We're out to the thousandths, and you can't hear it is a point. Most motor controls and power supply units that control it out to the 10th, you can hear it, which is a problem. So we address that by going out to a higher resolution.
Remember the original vacuum pump?
The original
vacuum pumps, right? We were kind of looking at that like, wow, when are they going to upgrade those things?
Well,
so it's glad to see
we
it's
were talking about that the other day, how there was no isolation in there. So
on the pumps itself.
Yeah. So and the raw pump itself is noisy. So
Right.
you put it in a box with nothing dampening or taking that away from it, for sure. And then let me just show you too.
Okay.
This is the phenolic resin chassis that we're going.
The phenolic resin starts with recycled paper. It's under high pressure when they manufacture it. When you start off with a sapphire, you get the phenolic resin, and you get an 8-inch aluminum plate that goes between your tone arm block and your bearing block. And then off of this is our tone arm blocks of MDF with the sapphire. When you step up to the Nova, so you go from $3,600 to the Nova at $5,700. You go to the 1-inch block, quarter of the table, all the way over. You can see increased rigidity. You're going to get a little bit more depth in the mid-range region. With these materials, the sound really jumps out. From there, we go to the Cosmos, which is 1-inch T6061 aluminum, all the way around with acrylic tone arm boards over there. Sounds fantastic. The Cosmos no longer has the motor attached to the original Cosmos was mounted on a cup right here to the sub chassis. Now we've moved that to the cabinet per se, so that there's no resonance from any motor going into this. And you can see in here as well, right here, there's a magnet in there. So we have 2 opposing magnets. So when the platter goes down, we no longer have a bearing or the sapphire, which is our trademark.
Right.
But getting rid of that, there's a lot. It's a lot quieter. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I know it was always an inverted system.
Correct.
Right.
And it still is. We just no longer have the bearing in there.
Okay.
And so now all the tables ship without the platter attached in their own box, and you just place it down, and off you go. It's a fantastic little system. Works great.
Good. I appreciate the opportunity to get to see everybody together. We're all kind of get together here. And there we go. And yeah, it's interesting to be able to see some history of things that have happened with the company, and of course, even for myself, being a dealer way back when. Our family originally started this back in the late 1970s, and we went all the way through to the mid 1980s. But very good to be able to see that things have progressed well for the company, and wish you all well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we just finished talking to the people at Sota, who actually manufactures turntables. We were actually one of the original turntable dealers in the Chicago area. So I'm just going to go through the show real quickly, kind of take an idea of what they have here, and just like any other convention show, there's a lot of things that are going on. We have Stereophile magazine over on this side here. There's turntable cleaning machines, kind of cool. There's a lot of records being sold too here, so if you're into turntables and records, this is the place to be. Kind of move ourselves over on this side here. So I'm just going to do a quick highlight of what's currently available.
I can't find it anywhere down by it, or you have to buy it.
All right. So I'm going to turn our camera forward here so I can actually film forward. I don't think you need to see me the entire time. So let's see what we got here. So we've got various record companies. Over on this side, we have that's a nitty-gritty record cleaner. There's CDs being sold here. Some other turntables. It's a music hall. That's kind of cool. Over this side, GK Acoustics. Seems to be another type of talk going on over on this side. Let's see what we got here.
Academy and producers and engineers wing, and we actually sit on one of the advisory committees for the Recording Academy. That's a community we care about all the time, and we need to make sure they have access to.
All right, so let's move on this way here, see what we got. So let's try going down this way. Let's see what we have here. Again, a lot of turntables and a lot of audio products that are vinyl related, butcher block acoustics. Try not to run people over here. There's a lot of products here. A lot of things you can look at and play with. Some tube electronics here. Let's look over on this side here.
Listen to the one that's
So trying to maneuver around the show. If you're into vinyl records, there's a lot of things here. These seem to be Mobile Fidelity records. Mobile Fidelity is one of the original guys that had high quality audio vinyl available back in the day, and they're still around doing things here.
Good idea.
So let's see if I can get through everybody here. You. Kind of tough sometimes getting through, but we're doing our best. All right, so let's swing around here. This is obviously where you can have concessions and things to eat. So we'll kind of swing around here to look about the equipment that's currently available. Actually, being on a mobility scooter and recording is actually not a bad thing here. We got very smooth, clean looking shots as we're moving around. I'm using a selfie stick basically, as I'm holding and moving around, and just talking to you with the lavalier microphone. Let's go through here. Let's see what we got in this direction. So up here, you can actually test some things. You guys have headphones, trying out different products. It's kind of like listening stations for everybody to be able to see and hear things. Not really sure exactly what they're listening to. Maybe I'll try that out a little bit later. Here's cable products. Swing around over here, try not to run people over with my scooter. Thank you. All right. Okay, so there we have it. That is the Axpona show. Actually, very difficult to get around if you have a mobility scooter, especially if you're going upstairs to the various exhibit rooms upstairs. Lots of people. They're all over the place. But it is possible. The hardest thing I think really was getting in and out of the elevators. That's actually been the most difficult thing to do. But people are kind. They do move out of the way. They let me get my scooter in there when they can. But again, if it's totally crowded, almost impossible to get onto an elevator. But overall, it's been a pretty interesting show. I've been pretty interested in the things that I've seen. I've run into people that work in the industry that when I was actually in the industry too, and they actually gave me some insight as to what's been happening over the years. People like Home Audio, Stereo Audio Exchange, Quintessence Audio, they're all here. Interesting that they're still actually around as others fade away. So it's been a good time. I actually enjoyed the show quite a bit. I'm going to go through the show again one more time on the main floor just to see what else is up there. I'll bring you along if I can, but again, it hasn't really been too much of a problem. I've seen a number of people actually vlogging. I've seen a number of people trying to create things for YouTube, I guess, as well. So if you have an opportunity to go see the Axpona show for next year, this year we actually have one more day on Sunday. You still have an opportunity to go here if you'd like. But if you have the opportunity to go, I would highly recommend you consider doing it. A little more difficult for people who have mobility issues because it's hard to get in and out of the elevators, hard to get around the rooms. But again, people are kind; they do move out of your way, and nobody seems to bother you if you're vlogging as well too. So, from the Axpona show here in 2019, I appreciate you all coming to see the video. If you like what you see and hear, feel free to hit the little like button there and hit the little bell icon so you can see notifications of new videos that will drop as we go along. And of course, feel free to subscribe. Thank you very much. See you next time.